not get into all the Ebola news, the huge Russia news, the huge border news, the Democrats, as usual, trying to dodge and successfully doing so, the taxes they put on the rest of us. That's the issue. Before I do that, I wanted to just tell the listeners, we're having the phones blown off the hook for people wanting the newest InfoWarsLife.com product, DNA Force, that is the most powerful, concentrated, organic sources of patented cell-boosting composites that are on record, just rejuvenating, you name it. It is sold out. It will still be sold out for at least 10 weeks. It's been sold out for a week. We hope to get it here within 10 weeks. We're rushing it. 12 weeks is what we were told. Maybe we're getting it a week early. Next time we're going to produce more, but it's so expensive to produce that we don't even have the capital to get the full amount we need to supply everybody. But by reinvesting all the little profit we got from 1,000 bottles, we can get 3,000 bottles, and then try to build up to supplying folks, and then you get the highest level of cutting-edge nutraceutical on record and support the InfoWar while you're at it. What we do have, I'm going to take I take one pill in the morning, one at lunch, and one at dinner. I've only been on it about a month and a half. It's only been out a week, but I had it before it came out, obviously. And you can see the whole write-up at InfoWarsLife.com, because obviously we held a few bottles back for ourselves around here. We still do have Lung Cleanse that was sold out for a long time, a whole bunch of essential oils and key organic compounds known to soothe the throat, the lungs, you name it. 3 shots in the mouth, and then you inhale. You don't take it and inhale, because that could burn your lungs. But these are strong oils. You dump this out on the table, I mean, it moves very slowly. This is not a cheap product. We bring you the most concentrated, most organic, most powerful known stuff. And I'm not going to go over everything that's in it. You can go check it out at InfoWarsLife.com. We're very close, again, to selling out of Lung Cleanse. We're very close to selling out of Silver Bullet, which we were out of for 2.5 months. The most powerful, lowest price colloidal silver out there. The same colloidal silver is in a major organic national chain store, grocery store. I'll leave it at that. We private label it from the same big laboratory, and it's $30 there. It's $19.95 at InfoWarsLife.com, just to give you an idea. So highest quality, lowest price out there that we've been able to find. Same thing with the Lung Cleanse. Same thing with the Survival Shield and the Survival Shield X2. That's from the Deep Earth source. So again, I just want to encourage everyone out there to support your own health, your own future, and to support the InfoWar, and to take the challenge to try the X2, to try the original Survival Shield, to try the Super Male Vitality, the Super Female Vitality, and other products that we're offering that are trailblazing, so that you really see how good they are. You've heard the rave reviews when I open the phones up on separate subjects, and medical doctors call in. In fact, I want to get that guy on as a guest. He's been calling in for like 15 years. The doc out of Wyoming, who sent us so many great news articles and things over the years. I didn't forget his last name. He's like, I think, chairman of the Republican Party now in his county or whatever. But the point is, really smart guy. He's been taking X2. And he called in on his own volition, said, man, I want to give you my testimony. That's the type of guy we should separately interview about his inside stuff in the Republican Party, but separately about what X2 did for him. Or the first one, X1. I mean, I only bring you stuff that really is hardcore and the very best. And when we go to these top labs and factories, they go, you're really going to put that much of it in there? No one does anything near that with PQQ and CoQ10, all this other stuff. We go, yeah, we're doing it. And you're not going to sell it for $600. You're going to sell it for $129. Yeah, we're going to do it. And I expect backlash over this too, folks, because I'm kind of showing people the whole magic trick here of nutraceuticals. Because I want to dominate the market and win, and feel good at night, bringing people the lowest prices and the most hardcore stuff out there. Now, I'm done ranting. I'm taking my DNA Force right now with my X2 in my purified water by ProPure. And then I'm going to take the secret elixir that we won't have for a few months, that everyone's wanting to know what it is. When I'm tired and been up here 14 hours, oh, let me tell you, this is it. And there's no side effect, no hangover on the mystery ingredient everyone wants to know about. Just wait. Let's just say it's a new development. No one else has it. And we're busy getting the patent pending and the trademarks and stuff before we even bring it out. Okay, that's the reason we've not rolled it out yet. And the best part is we're funding the InfoWar at the same time and true independent media. InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. Now, there were a overrun of 200 bottles that aren't labeled of the DNA Force. We've had a couple thousand people sign up on the email on the DNA Force page at InfoWarsLife.com who want to be able to order it first when it comes out. We will take the first 200 emails sometime next week out of those couple thousand and email you so you can get it when the 200 bottles come in. But that'll be it until, I don't know, what's 10 weeks from now, 11 weeks from now? We'll be into November. So I'm sorry about that, but it's good to have things where people have already tried our products and know they're so good that stuff like that's happening. Okay, let's get into the really hardcore news and information now, my friends. Again, here are the headlines. It's the top headline up on drudgereport.com. CDC refuses to identify where previous Ebola test originated. They're hiding the Ebola test locations. And again, Drudge first linked to us reporting on the beginnings of this yesterday. Now it's being covered by Breitbart, doing a great job. Immigrants, again, we'll get to that news here in a moment. Let me hit this news first. Some of it, again, is up on Infowars.com. The most complete coverage on Ebola is at drudgereport.com. And also PrisonPlanet.com is covering quite a bit of it. And we're covering on the nightly news as well. CDC refuses to identify where previous Ebola test originated. Tuesday evening, the CDC confirmed what we reported on in the morning to Breitbart News that individuals in the United States had been tested for Ebola. Those tests came back negative. You can't believe any of that. But the CDC would not identify the states where they originated. CNN's Dr. Sanjay Gupta reported Tuesday, that's what we reported on the Drudge picked up, that half a dozen people have been tested for Ebola. It's way more than that. And it's now being covered up. CDC gets dozens of calls about people who are ill after traveling in Africa. Economic Collapse blog reports. Should we be alarmed that the CDC has received several dozen calls from hospitals around the country about people who are ill after traveling in Africa? As you read above and below, a lot more Ebola testing has been going on around the nation. We've been hearing about in the mainstream media. And then it goes on to break down that people are collapsing from Liberia and coming to Morocco and coming to London. I mean, just a lot of scary stuff going on. And again, I'm more concerned about government response and using this as a power grab than I even am about the Ebola. But this is undoubtedly a real pandemic in Africa, now in 5 nations at least. They've brought Ebola, at least 2 people into Atlanta. It's a serious situation. But again, CNN reported yesterday, U.S. health authorities concerned, and they've been concealing the number of suspected Ebola victims from the public. Ebola tested across the nation, government suppressing the info. Ebola, BBC reports, global experts begin emergency talks at the World Health Organization. Global health experts at the World Health Organization are meeting to discuss new measures to tackle the Ebola outbreak. The meeting is expected to last 2 days. And will decide whether to declare a global health emergency. Today, a man suspected of contracting Ebola died in Saudi Arabia. If confirmed, this will be the first Ebola-related death outside of Africa. The outbreak began in February in Guyana and has since spread to Liberia, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, and now to Saudi Arabia. On Wednesday, a nurse became the second person to die from Ebola in Nigeria. Nigeria's health minister and 5 other cases of Ebola have been treated in isolation. Sub-Saharan Africa's largest city. It comes as leading infectious disease experts have called for experimental treatments to be offered more widely. Let's continue. Ebola outbreak could be much worse than first thought. Johannesburg, South Africa. The worst outbreak of the deadly Ebola virus in history could actually be much worse than official death tolls reflect, the World Health Organization says. And again, they have a history of covering up how bad things really are when they're serious. Then when something isn't serious, like H1N1 5 years ago, they hype it up like it's the end of the world. But when we have governments as evil as this running things, that's the big concern. And why is the southern border still wide open? And why have Border Patrol agents, senior ones, gone public saying they've been ordered to load people up, vomiting, with high fevers, you name it, from the Middle East, from Africa, and just let them come in on the buses, which is then increasing the surge of illegals coming in. Here's another one out of Reuters. Bodies dumped in streets as West Africa struggles to curb Ebola. Relatives of Ebola victims in Liberia defy government orders and dumped infected bodies in the streets as West African governments struggle to enforce tough measures to curb an outbreak of the virus that has killed, let me say this for over a week, 887 people. It's way over that, folks. Most estimates have been over 1,000 for a week. Sierra Leone deploys troops in Ebola crisis to control the border and other issues. We won't do that here, don't worry. Ebola virus spreads because of lax quarantine enforcement, says the World Health Organization and the New York Times. 5 new Ebola cases and another death confirmed in Nigeria. Now they're saying in Africa, God is angry with Liberia for trying to legalize homosexuality, blaming Ebola on homosexualism. Well, I'd blame it on airborne viruses that come from fruit bats that have been manipulated in bioweapons labs in the last 50 years, 45 years. That's on record. It's clearly been weaponized, and it's becoming more airborne. And by the way, if you're a new listener and say, hey, it's not airborne, mainline science has said for 2 years, evidence it's airborne, with monkeys transferring it to pigs in Africa in cages separated, in laboratories where they're separated. I think a lot of this testing and CDC stuff and UN stuff, undoubtedly these labs are becoming vectors for it, even if they're not trying to create it. It's no doubt SV40 that gave over 100 million Americans cancer on record was from the vaccine production. The question is, was it on purpose or by accident? Well, one of the developers of it told PBS television, we played the clip probably 100 times here, we got to pull it back up. He was interviewed by the Boston station, the PBS, aired nationally back in the early 90s, that, oh, yeah, we knew it was in there, but there's too many people. Ha, ha, ha. I mean, this is the type of garbage we're dealing with. What's shocking is how Ebola patients look before they die. A British doctor working in Sierra Leone describes the horror of the deadly disease. Giant purple blisters everywhere, blood pouring out of every orifice. I'm not even going to read any more of this here on air. Maybe I'll get to it more so people know how serious this is. But don't worry, the Washington Post says global warming, even though the Earth's been cooling for 19 years, the UN's own numbers show, is the cause. You didn't pay your carbon indulgence to the Rothschild Bank, the Rockefeller Bank, so that's why this happened. I'm going to go to break. And I'm going to come back and get into the border situation, then the Russia situation. Ebola crisis spurs passenger checks as airlines still fly, Bloomberg reports, out of West Africa. I love this headline. Tuskegee students stuck in Liberia due to Ebola fears. WSFA, 6 students who attended Tuskegee University, where the government for 47 years injected black people with syphilis so they could spread it to everybody else at the same time, other blacks and everybody else, are stranded in Liberia. See, that's how I think when I see a headline. Oh, but the government wouldn't be involved in anything now. Briefly, don't forget this hour is brought to you by the great folks at MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com /Alex is where you find their biggest weekly, monthly, and daily specials, not just high-quality non-GMO foods and great customer service, but it lasts more than 20 years, and they're patriots just like us. 866-229-0927, mypatriotsupply.com/Alex, because in my view, you're completely out of your mind if you don't have high-quality storable foods. This is who I've chosen to use. All right, when we come back, immigrants using Facebook to find illegal border crossings as Zuckerberg allows it to be used for human smuggling and other felonies, while Facebook shuts down websites exposing the border being wide open. Facebook, all of them, are literally foreign enemy operations. You ask, why are we on them? Because that's where the war is. You go to the front lines, and you go behind the lines as well. And I am part of the militia. I wear a sports jacket, a white shirt, and a stainless steel wristwatch. And I engage in info war. I don't wear camo for a Southeast Asia war that ended 40 years ago. In other news, Michelle Obama, who came out with other, pop celebrities, that's what they've sold her as, came out and, of course, said, don't say bossy, it hurts women's feelings. Don't call a woman bossy. You don't use the word bossy as a man because you're bad. And people are now saying they won't use the word because she's God. And if she says don't use the word blue, you don't use it. You do what they say. When they say jump, you say, yes, ma'am, how high? Because that's what a free country does. And you don't call illegal aliens either. You use the language they say when they say it, Buster. There's even video and audio of this. I want to get it. Michelle Obama now says women are smarter than men. First Lady Michelle Obama shared some thoughts about women versus men during a conversation with former First Lady Laura Bush at the U.S. African Leaders Summit in Washington, D.C. And she went on to say, women are smarter than men. What an outrageous statement. Some women are smarter demographically than other groups of men. But when you get to the highest level of geniuses, you can't even say who's the smartest. Physiologically, women's brains tend to have 3 times the connections between left and right hemisphere, so women are more intuitive and tend to be, a lot of times, on average, better at aesthetics. I mean, this is well known by sociologists, anthropologists. That's what they target, psychologists. But we are the same species. Men and women are together. That's why they attack both the normal genders, both the standard genders, is to end humanity as we know it, and that's in the textbooks. And so now, imagine if a president said men are smarter than women. Statistically, men are better fighter pilots. Of course, machines are about to replace us, so it doesn't matter. Because men generally have better eyesight, generally don't get as confused under pressure, generally can work in coordination under pressure, generally can operate better when wounded. Now, a woman on average can live longer when wounded. So, ooh, big difference. Men can operate better in pain on average. Women can handle more trauma, gunshot wounds, you name it, on average. Like it's about a 7-point increase in women. Same thing in female babies. They're known to be much stronger than male babies. Look at autism. The chemicals hit boys a lot worse because boys, well, it's a complex issue. The point is, it's all about thinking about how we're all different and not together. What an outrageous, bigoted, sexist scumbag. But see, she can say it. You can have rap songs putting down white people all day. You can have Mecha La Raza running around Hispanic Ku Klux Klan putting down white people as the devil. You can have the black first lady up there, or first whatever she is, up there, you know, saying men are dumb, basically. Oh, I heard there wouldn't be any more wars once women got into office. Now they run the State Department, just warmongering everywhere because they work for the globalists. It's a total front, ladies and gentlemen. And these women act more arrogant and more aggressive and more crazy than the nuttiest alpha males I've ever known.
Shouldn't the headline be "Women are smarter than George W. Bush"?
That would be probably an accurate headline. I mean, the point is that women and men today are childlike, so easy to manipulate. And I refuse to do it. But people like Michelle Obama do. I mean, they're getting people ready for Hillary to run. Oh, yeah, I'm going to show you a girl going to get in. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I mean, it is just so transparent, so mindless, so stupid. And it's all sick. I didn't get into all the border stuff. Suspects in murder of Border Patrol agent arrested and deported. Mark Adams joined us, investigative journalist, to chronicle the incredible criminal history of the illegitimate run-for-profit for the offshore banks, Internal Revenue Service. And I talked to senior people in the IRS in Austin, one of the biggest IRS centers in the country here. And they admit it's all true and a total fraud and a total scam, and the ultra-rich are tax-exempt, and the illegals are all allowed to be basically tax-free in many cases and launder money. I mean, this is all just a mafia government. So that's coming up. I said I'd get into the open borders situation. We reported on this a few days ago. Drudge picked it up first. Now it's in mainstream news today. But suspects in murder of Border Patrol agent arrested and deported numerous times. They were living illegally in Texas. We reported on this yesterday, or actually 2 days ago. So now it's hitting national news that they have been deported over and over again, and we're just rolling around robbing and killing people, reportedly for fun and to rob them. So there you go. Texas eased rules for housing immigrant children. They can basically do anything they want with them and have no inspections, and no Congress can't get in. Nobody can get in. Overwhelmed by the arrival of thousands of undocumented immigrant children, the state of Texas relaxed its standards. That's called laws. The legislature, you're breaking the law. You just say now, like Obama, we're relaxing standards for the shelters that house them, mainly because the illegals are crapping on the floor. I mean, I'm sorry, that's just in the news. Governing how much space, they just won't use the toilet in some cases. Never had a toilet. I mean, I don't blame them. And why not? The EPA does it. Maybe that's the new sign that you're in the in crowd. You just walk into a restaurant, just crapping all over, crap on the table. I mean, why not? It's racist. Walk into a police station and just walk in and just crap right on the front desk, and they're going to go. They start arresting me. And I go, what? I'm culturally sensitive here. That was in the news last week. That's why they're having all these inspections and people are getting in trouble because there's just crap everywhere. But easing rules governing how much space each child needs and what kind of facilities they should have. Maybe that should be the new American flag. It's just somebody crapping on the floor. I mean, the EPA, by the way, when I said this a few months ago, people thought I was joking. Then I mentioned it again a few days ago or last week, and people were on YouTube going, I thought he was joking, till we flashed the article up. No. At EPA facilities all over the country, they go, the U.S. citizens, we're not just saying the illegals here because they grew up like in cardboard boxes. I feel sorry for them. They go to the bathroom at their desk and hallways. And they're not just lazy and pee on the floor. I mean, in Idiocracy, you have a toilet built right into your seat. That's trendy. No, I mean, you got to have a hipster beard, a hipster, hipster. By the way, there's a new article out. Islamic State's new icon is a hipster. And I saw this a few days ago and thought it was satire. But now it's in the London Telegraph. I look at so much news. I looked at it and thought, that can't be real. You guys, if you'll punch this up for TV viewers, it's so ridiculous. Islamic State's new icon is a hipster jihadi, sword-wielding supporter of the caliphate, is a university graduate from a well-off Cairo family. I bet you $1 million he's CIA or Ford Foundation or Soros Group. I mean, you can just look at it. What a joke. And, hey, they're carrying out Democratic Party operation to murder every Christian they find, slit the throats of non-radical Muslims, and just rule savagely, rolling with power like Akron. You walk in Akron and go, I got children I want to run as sex slaves. They're like, sir, you came to the right place. Time to run ops. And if you don't run child sex slaves in America for the Democrats, you're a racist. And if you're at the EPA and you don't just projectile crap all over the walls, you know what? Maybe when I was at CNN a few years ago, for the Piers Morgan deal, and I'd been at the same studios before, and it was all nice a few years before, and now it was all gross while I'm on this scatological deal that Karl Rove, who listens in Austin, I'm sure loves. But I'm disgusted by it. I'm not obsessed with it like he is, with his nickname for the president, TB. I don't mean tuberculosis. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Turd Blossom, that it was like Jackson Pollocks all over the walls, green, brown, black crap. I mean, maybe that's what America is. Maybe you prove you're a Democrat now by just running around the street, don't even wear diapers. This is Alex Jones for InfoWarsLife.com. The latest in preparedness is now here. An electrically stabilized colloidal silver solution that can be added to both your home cabinet and preparedness pack alike. Concentrated to 30 parts per million in what has been dubbed the survival silver solution. The new InfoWars Life Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver is the answer for you and your family. And it's entirely free of toxic artificial additives that are loaded into many products. The InfoWars Life Silver Bullet Silver is so powerful that it is concentrated into a 2-ounce bottle and is not recommended for extended continual use. This is not a low-grade formula. We are working with one of the top laboratory manufacturers in the United States to bring you the best form of colloidal silver using electrical processes within a base of deionized water for your preparedness storage or your home kitchen. Purchase your bottle of InfoWarsLife.com Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver today and find other amazing supplements at InfoWarsLife.com.